Okay, I'm in the shop this evening. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I had purchased a cast steel Tomahawk from Simeon England. I met Simeon at the school of Longhunter back in April. He talked about his cast tomahawks that he was able to offer, and pretty proud of the fact that he had carved the mold, or not carved, he'd forged the head that was used as a basis for this. And I didn't get one at the school of the Longhunter. I was too slow, and he was gracious after I contacted him several times via text that he set one aside for me after he was through with all his teaching events, and so I had it. He had not come out with his video on how to heat treat it yet, and he promised he would do that. And so I just kind of, in the interim, I worked on a handle for my Tomahawk, and I opted to go with a native wood of my area, and I don't have it quite fitted all the way in, but we're getting there. I went with Osage orange, or as the French would call it, Bois D Arc, and that means bow wood, and so I went with that. I went with it, and Bois D Arc is a very snaky, twisty, curvy wood. The bowyers like it because they make snaky bows out of it. Have you ever seen a snaky bow? A lot of times they will cover them with a snake skin backing, and it truly looks like a snake. This particular piece of Bois D Arc was harvested, I believe, locally. I did not harvest it. I scavenged it. It came from the gathering of traditional bowyers that we have here in Oklahoma, and I'm a member of, and that is the Oklahoma Self Bow Society. And I got this from a scrap pile at the gathering called Oklahoma Jamboree, or OJAM for short, and I took it, dressed it down, and I'm making this my handle. The week of Thanksgiving, I watched a video of an individual who has a YouTube channel called Muzzleloading on the Run, and he had one of these, and he went through a heat treating process that he got from Simeon, but he got it, I guess, just through word of mouth with him. And so I was going to follow his technique. I conversed with him via text message and message on his YouTube channel, and asked him if he was happy with what he did, and he said yes. And then lo and behold, like the next day, Simeon came out with his video. So I'm taking mine, and the first step is to get rid of the casting gates or sprues. There are 3 on it, and the one in the back is the biggest one, and I've just about got it down. Still got a little bit right here, and then you have this little low area that I'm going to take it down to get to that. I don't think it's going to change the top profile any. It should be okay. And then there are 2 more, one here just forward of the eye, and then one here at the very tip. So I will take those down. I will dress out the bottom side of the blade, go ahead and start getting a bevel, smooth this up down here. I will not mess with this down here where the Simeon England cartouche is, or touch mark. I'm not sure. I think one of them is French. I think the other one is whatever. But do some dressing up here, and then I will go through. Oh, I will also, on the pole side, I will just slightly bevel these, all 4 corners plus the face, so that it can be used as a hammer like Simeon showed us at the School of the Longhunter, where he forged a fire striker using a single bitted axe stuck in a log, and then he forged it with the pole end of his Tomahawk. That will be the objective of mine, is to have it used for that. So anyway, as you can see, I've just about got this done. I'm going to stop this here, and then we will we'll catch some footage of it as I go, and then the finished product. I'm using a Sharpie to kind of hit the areas that I know that I want to address with the file. Believe it or not, sometimes while you're filing, you think you're addressing where it's at, and you're really not. But this way you can move your file around to where you know you're getting it in the right areas. Such as this right here. You can see that it's taken that off, which is right where I want it. My woodworking vise is really not the best for this, but it does. There we go. And then you can see, and sometimes I address those areas. See them still. There we go. Take it off there, where we want. And then back here, we're going to get that edge. Take that marking off. That low area is still right there. I'm using a pretty aggressive file here. It's a coarse Nicholson file. And you can see now it's starting to really get out that. Let's do it one more time. Just make sure we're getting it where we want to. And then after this, and I will go at it with a fine file. There we go. I haven't decided if I'm going to just keep addressing this area right here, because that is going to be beveled, but I definitely want to address this high spot right here. I'm only using one hand so you can see what I'm doing. Normally I can file there too. Hold the file at an angle. There we're starting to address it. I'm going to put my hand up there, get that focus. Let's hit it. Mark it one more time. There we go. And you can tell we are starting to hit this low area, which periodically I'll take it out and check the top profile, which is a slightly rounded profile, as you can see. Still have this area and this area right here. I'm not going to do much more on that, because I'm going to, as I say, I'm going to bevel this particular edge anyway, or these edges anyway. But this still needs to be addressed, so I'm still going to keep tackling that. Okay, I finally got rid of all the evidence of that back casting gate, and that is that was the biggest. I could have gone at this with a belt sander, a grinding wheel, but I think on this one, I think it's probably prudent to go at it the traditional way, slow and with file. I don't think there's any reason to just hog it off. So anyway, I'll get these off, and then we'll move on to this area here, get this dressed up, dress up this area right here, and then I will put an initial bevel on it before heat treating. I'll bevel this edge, starting about right here, this, and then I will put just a slight bevel on these 4 faces. Will not touch the SE cartouche touch mark. Okay, the last of the casting gates is just about gone. This is really the last remnant of it right here. That little dark spot right there, that's the low spot. So I got to take that down and just a little bit up here. Hit this one more time, or another time, again, maybe what I should say. I don't know if it'll get rid of it or not. Oh, it's close. I do this just to keep from filing in the wrong spot. A machinist friend one time that I worked with, I was sawing something with a hacksaw, and he said, you know, they put teeth all the way down that blade, and what he was trying to get me to do is use the full length of the right there. I'm getting a little control. I don't know how. But anyway, he was saying make long strokes, use all the teeth. Let the saw do the work. I think we got it. I think the file's the same way. First of all, the file only cuts one direction. Don't saw back and forth. Now you can lightly draw it back, but it's really not doing much work. But I think we got that side. Let's address this now. Okay, I think I've got it about as far as I'm going to take it. I have gotten rid of the casting gates. I have smoothed out the underside, which was probably the roughest casting other than the casting gates there were. Still got a few little boogers here that I'm not going to address. One thing I tried to do on the underside of the blade is it kind of had facets, a 3-part facet here, here, and here. I tried to preserve that, I think, a little bit, and I think it gave some nice lines. Every sharp edge got relieved. The pole edges were beveled to include the face. Now, I contacted Simeon. I said, do we do anything to this when we heat treat it? And he said, no, they stay just like that. I think this is, I don't remember the type steel. I'll put that in the description, but it's, I believe it's a tool type steel. The touch mark cartouche is preserved. I put a light bevel on it so that when I heat treat, because you only heat treat from about here down. You heat to here, cherry red, quench in oil, just to about right here, and then scrape it with a rock or a brick to start watching the color, because the color will start then traveling back to the tip. You'll see straw, then you'll see the bluish, and then when it blues, you put it in water. It's rather cold today, going to be rather cold tomorrow. I may or may not do it, but I think that right there is going to look on my Bois D Arc handle. I have an arrow showing that that's the front, and that goes on there. I have not split it at all. So I will then put a split or a saw kerf in there, and then I will put a wooden edge in it. But I think we are going to call this one ready to heat treat. Thanks.